Okay, so let's get this running, shall we? Let's get this going. So, properly, good evening, folks, and thank you for joining me. Whether you're joining me live right now or whether you're watching the replay, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch me um, chatting at you, chatting with you. If you do have any comments about what I'm saying, please drop them in the comments bar. I will do my best to get through all of them before we close out this evening. Now, what I wanted to talk to you this evening originally was about my upcoming course, the Emotional Health and Wellbeing Coach course. But when I was preparing for this evening and when I was kind of doing my own notes in my head and figuring it all out, what I figured out was that I don't just want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about emotions in general. Now, why do I want to do that? Well, it's incredibly important for anybody who wants to be a coach or is a coach or a practitioner or a complementary therapist or a therapist of some kind. Basically, any of you that want to be in the helping industry and want to be helping people need to know how to work with emotions. That's not just it's a nice to know or it's a like I'd like to know. It's an absolute must. It's a need to know in the helping industry. Why? Well, the simple answer is that every single one of us is in an emotional state of some sort at every single part of the day, aren't we? It doesn't matter from the moment we rise to the moment we go back to sleep, we are in some sort of emotional state. And to be fair, sometimes even when you're in your sleep, you can be in an emotional state. Although I'm not sure you're going to be coaching anybody while they're asleep. Well, you never know. Could be a new line of work. Anyway, when we're awake, we're in an emotional state of some point. And usually, when clients come to us as coaches or practitioners or therapists or complementary therapists, whatever it may be, there is something that they want to achieve. Now, whether that's an achievement, as in they want to go up the career ladder, or they want to do something specific with their life, or maybe it's they want to feel better emotionally, or maybe they want to feel better from a health perspective, whatever it may be, there's going to be an emotion involved. So if you want to work as a coach or practitioner of any single sort, it is a must that you know how to work with emotions in some way. Because at some point, if that person that's coming to you as a client can't get to where they want to be without your help, that means there's a block somewhere. And that block, in some way, shape, or form, will be linked to an emotional state. Whether that emotional state is fear or uncertainty or anger or frustration or depression or stress or overwhelm or anything like that, there is going to be a block in some way. If you actually want to work as an emotional health and well-being coach, then obviously you're going to need to know how to work with emotions. But let's say you want to be a health coach and coach people on their diet and their exercise programs and all of that sort of stuff. Guess what? Emotion plays a massive part in that industry. If somebody wants career coaching and they don't know how to get to the next step or they're fearful of getting to the next step, guess what? Fear is an emotion. That's right. There's an emotional state in there somewhere. If you are a coach or want to be a coach or therapist of any type, then you need to be able to work with emotions. Let me tell you another reason why. We as human beings, we have these interesting states, don't we? We have these interesting states where in some states, some emotional states, we can make clear, free decisions that are empowering, that are righteous, that are fit with our values, that fit with our identity, that fit truly with who we are, and they can be great decisions for us to move forwards with. On the other hand, of course, we have these negative, disempowering states. And when we try to make effective decisions and effective choices in our life from those states, yeah, that doesn't tend to work too well, does it? If I was to ask you if you've ever been in what I might call a negative or disempowering state, so whether it be angry or frustrated or depressed or stressed or anxious or something like that, do you make effective choices in that emotional state? No, of course you don't. We just don't. That's who we are. And we need to be in a better emotional state to make better choices. The better the emotional state we are in, the better choices we make, which is a real problem for us as coaches if people come to us in negative or disempowering states of any sort. And it doesn't just have to be depression or stress or anxiety, it could be fear. If somebody's coming to us with fear about where they want to go next, or that's what's holding them back, guess what? They're not going to make good choices from a state of fear. So we need to know how to work with emotions. More importantly, we don't just need to know how to work with emotions, we need to know how to make emotional shifts. We need to be able to help our clients to recognize their state and make a shift in their state so they can make better, more empowered choices. And that is one of the keys of coaching and being a practitioner. There's something I call the golden circle of coaching, and that involves four particular areas of coaching. And one of those key parts is emotions. If you are not trained and if you don't know how to work effectively with emotional states and with helping people through their negative, disempowering emotions and into positive, empowering emotions, then I'm going to say this is going to be really harsh. I've just said this to myself in my head before it came out of my mouth, and I just realized how harsh it's going to be. But to be perfectly honest, if you don't know how to work with emotions, you're not going to be the greatest coach in the world, and you're not going to help as many people as you probably want to help. Now, I realize that sounds harsh. Like I said it to myself in my head just before it came out of my mouth, and that went, that doesn't sound very good. But hopefully, you know me well enough that when I'm talking to you and when I'm telling you stuff, whether it be on a pre recorded course or on a live video like this or in a live course, then you know I'm going to tell you the truth. And that really is the truth. But I'll let you into a little secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. Emotions aren't that hard to work with. I know it's a shock, it's a surprise. Most people think emotions are really hard to work with. Here's the thing, if you know what you're doing, if you've been appropriately trained and had enough practice and have got the skills and the knowledge and experience inside of you, actually, emotions aren't that hard to work with as a coach in a coaching perspective. Now, for the client, okay, they can be difficult to work with, but we can make emotional shifts fairly quickly so that clients can make effective decisions. And then we can help them to make those emotional shifts stay there over time. We can help them so that they stay there through the rest of their lives. Well, that is powerful coaching, ladies and gentlemen. Being able to help somebody to move away from negative, disempowering emotions and towards positive, empowering ones, whatever you want to call them, that is powerful coaching to help them to be able to recognize their negative, disempowering patterns and shift to the positive, empowering patterns. That is powerful coaching. Does it mean that those negative, disempowering emotions will never come back? No, that's just part of life. Our whole nervous system is set up to experience varieties, to experience changes in emotion. It's how we live. Our entire our entire nervous system has to feel different types of emotion. We can't just feel happiness and joy and excitedness all the time because we'd be up all the time and we'd be dancing and we'd be giving it some of this, and our nervous system eventually is going to go, I'm shattered. I need to have a rest. Oh, let me sit back up again. And then, therefore, it goes into a more, what we might call a more negative or disempowering state. What we don't have to do is live there. That is the important message here. When we are in negative, disempowering states, we can feel them, we can experience them, but we don't have to live there. We can, if they knock on our door, we can open the door and we can just take them in a little bit, but they don't have to walk inside. They don't have to live there. We can close the door on them and go back to those positive, empowering states. How do we do that? Well, there's a whole list of stuff that we can do, lots of which is going to be covered in the emotional health and well-being course that I'm going to tell you about in a few moments. But to give you an idea of some of the things you can do to help people, some of the things you can do right now. If I was to ask you, what's a negative or disempowering emotional state that you would like to feel less of in life? Just think of one for the moment. I'll give you a couple of seconds just to think of one. What's a negative, disempowering state you feel more than you'd like to and you'd like to feel less of? Okay, I'm sure you've got one, so we'll carry on. What's an empowering emotion, a positive, empowering emotion that you would like to feel more of in life? Have we got one? I'm sure you have. Okay. If any of you are on the Priority Academy newsletter list, I talked about emotional breathing in the newsletter this morning. What I want you to do is think about that negative, disempowering emotion. And I want you to think of the last time you were in that negative, disempowering emotion. When you felt that, how were you breathing at the time? Now, to give you an example, if you were angry or frustrated, people tend to be short breathed and like this when they're angry, right? That's the breathing pattern. People who are maybe suffer with depression often think that they're breathing really big and deep and heavy. What tends to happen, not all the time, I'm making a bit of a generalization here, I realize, not all the time, but it tends to be quite a shallow breath in and then a really deep breath out. That tends to be the breathing pattern of those of that particular negative disempowering state. So just for a moment, try to remember the breathing pattern you were in that negative disempowering state. In fact, you could even emulate it right now just so that you're aware of it. Think about that state, what you were doing, how you were feeling at the time. Don't worry, we're going to think about a more positive, empowering one in a moment. So you're not going to live there. And just think about how you were breathing in that state. Have you got it? Okay. Now, before we move on, just give yourself a good shake off, just because we need to break that pattern a bit. I don't want you to live there, so just give yourself a bit of a shake off. Yes, I realise I look like I'm dancing to a rave track or something like that. Okay, that's a reference from the early 90s. If you're younger than that, if you're too young to remember that, I apologise. I'm getting a bit old and crotchety these days. So now you've got that one out the way and you know what that breathing pattern is. That positive emotional state that you would like to feel more of in life, think of the last time you felt that and imagine to yourself, remember what the breathing pattern is in that place. Now, if it's at peace, it might be that nice deep breath that comes with peace. If you were happy and just relaxed and fulfilled, it might be a similar one. On the other hand, if you're excited, it might be or something like that. I don't know. But think of the breathing pattern that you were going through in that moment. Those breathing patterns are an important part of what control our emotional states. Is it the entire process? No, of course it's not. But if we can help our clients to shift breathing patterns from a negative, disempowering state to a positive, empowering state, simply by doing what I just did with you and getting them to focus on that positive, empowering state and how they would breathe in that moment and getting them to breathe like that, guess what? We start to make a shift. We start to swing the pendulum in the way of the positive, empowering emotion. That means they can make better choices and better decisions. So if I was to ask you right now to think of that positive, empowering emotion and breathe in that way, if you haven't done already, if you're an overachiever, you got ahead of me there, didn't you? You really started to get ahead of me and started to breathe that way, didn't you? I know lots of you do. That's how you're just awesome, and you just jump ahead. But if you didn't, then jump into that positive, empowering breathing place, whatever it may be for you. Just get in there and really start to breathe in that pattern and see immediately how your mood and your emotions starts to change. Why? Because it's part of our physiology, part of our physical association to that emotion. Our physical association to a negative, disempowering emotion is a certain breathing pattern. Yes, there's more than that to a physical association, but our breathing pattern is really important. If we then shift to the physical association of a positive, empowering emotion and breathe like that, then we're changing our physical association and therefore changing our emotion. It's amazing how this here, our body, can affect this. And yes, this can affect this too. Of course it can, but it works both ways around. Just by changing our breathing patterns, we can change how we feel in the moment. Now, of course, there's a whole lot more to it to change an emotional state and to make that state stick. Of course, there is. But just making the change in that moment can help a client to make a more informed choice, a better choice from a more empowered state, a better decision from a more empowered state. And that can be the key to them walking away from a session with you feeling like they've achieved nothing and walking away from a session with you believing that they really can go on and achieve what they want to achieve with your help. What a shift that can make in somebody's life. Now, that is just a small smidgen part of what I'm going to teach you in the Emotional Health and Wellbeing Coach course. Let me tell you a little bit about the course. The course is going to be live on Zoom. So it's not a pre-recorded course. It's not going into Udemy. It's not going to be pre-recorded into the Priority Academy. This is a live course on Zoom. It's going to be 6 weeks long, and it's going to be 2 hours per session per week. Okay, so it's going to be a 12-hour course effectively. Within those 2 hours each week, you're going to get training from me on the different areas of being an emotional health and well-being coach. You're going to get live demonstrations. So I will do demonstrations with you, with whoever wants to volunteer to do that. I will also provide you with a training manual. I will also record all of those meetings so that you can watch them back, and they'll go into a private course for you on the Priority Academy. So only the students, only the members of that particular class can watch them back, and you get that for lifetime access. So you can watch it back as many times as you want. I've just finished the Master Coach Diploma that I was running. It finished literally last night, was the last one of the Tuesday class. And one of the ladies from that says that she watches all of the 12 weeks back that we did in the Master Coach Diploma, and she's still picking up new parts and new distinctions and stuff now. It's invaluable to be able to watch that back. To be there live is an experience in itself. Because you're learning and you're practicing as well. That's the other part of it. You'll get to practice each of the things I teach you. You'll get to practice with your classmates right there in the session so that you pick it up as quickly as possible. I'm trying to cover all of the learning bases for everybody so that you really get a grip on it. But because you can go back and watch it again and again and again, you can pick up new distinctions and keep refreshing your knowledge. So let me just go over that because I don't know what I've covered. I got sidetracked there. So it's a 6-week course, 2 hours per week. Live on Zoom. You'll get a training manual, you'll get live demonstrations, you'll get the training, obviously, and you'll get time to practice with your classmates. Plus, you'll get a community space all to yourselves, just with for the emotional health and well-being coach. So you can chat with your classmates as you go through. If you've got any questions, you can drop them in there, and I can answer them in between sessions, or I can answer them in the session. These are the live courses are my most powerful trainings, without a doubt, because you get to experience it, watch it, do the demonstrations, have the training, and do the practice right there and then. They are the most powerful trainings I can give you. I certainly know, if you read some of the comments from the Master Coach Diploma course that's just finished, the folks in there have absolutely loved it. And it's not just forwarded their own coaching lives, but it's forwarded their own lives as well. They've picked up so much from it because you get the opportunity to practice as both the coach and the coachee. You're effectively getting a whole bunch of free coaching as well while you're in these live courses. So it really is a fully packed 6-week course, and there's a lot of information to pack in that 6 weeks. I promise you, you will get the best of what I have to offer as an emotional health and well-being coach. And you get time. We always get time at the end to ask questions, to feedback, to ask me any questions you need to. And just as I thought I couldn't add anything more, add any more value to that, what I will also do is I will offer anybody who signs up, I will offer one free course of my pre-recorded courses to you as well. You'll be able to choose them as we go into starting the course. So you're going to get a free course out of it as well. And there's going to be 2 classes, by the way. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But one person from each class will also win a full year's membership to the Priority Academy Professional Membership, which is about, well, it's well over $300 worth of value. So you'll also get the chance. There'll be a competition in the very first week. Everybody can turn up, and I will do a live draw right there in the Zoom room so that one person from each class will win a full year's annual membership. The value to that is, while the monetary value to there is there, the value of that I really can't put into words. I'm sure the current professional members will tell you how much value is in that particular package. So let's get to the important stuff, shall we? The 2 classes, there will be a Sunday class and a Tuesday class. Why have I chosen to do it that way? Well, I want to make sure that as many people from as many different time zones as possible can join. So the timing will be at 8 p.m. UK time every week. Now, you're going to have to check out wherever you are around the world, because I can't sit here and list everywhere around the world. So check out where you are around the world. Generally, what it's been like in the Master Coach Diploma course is folks from the States like the Sunday slot, because the Tuesday slot at 8 p.m. is somewhere in the middle of the afternoon-ish, but they've liked the Sunday slot. So if that's for you, if you want the Sunday slot, 8 p.m. UK time, you can choose that one, or you can choose the Tuesday at 8 p.m. UK time, whichever one really works for you. The first classes will be the Sunday class. The first class will be the 30th of April, Sunday, the 30th of April. And the first Tuesday class will be Tuesday, the 2nd of May. So literally the Tuesday afterwards. And we will go for 6 consecutive weeks after that, doing Sunday, Tuesday. So whether you're in the Sunday class or the Tuesday class, you just turn up for 6 weeks in either the Sunday or the Tuesday. That's how that works. I should also say that I've sent all of the details of this course off to the people who accredit my courses these days, the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine, the IPHM, and they've fully accredited the course. They're quite happy that it meets their standards for being an accredited course. So you get an accredited certificate at the end of it as well. Okay, so the important part, because I know you're dying to ask, how much is this going to cost, Graham? And I realize that cost is always an important thing. So for the 6 weeks and for everything else that I've added in there, so for the 6 weeks, Zoom calls, the training manuals, the community space, the recordings, the training, the live demonstrations, the practice time, the free pre-recorded course of your choice, and the chance to win a 1 year's free membership. The price is $347, which you can either pay in full or you can pay in 2 lots of $174. That's entirely up to you. Now, I should point out that if there are taxes due in your country or region, they get added at the checkout. That's just how the system works. Because I can't pick out every single region and price it for every single region. I price it in dollars, and then you can figure it out. And if any taxes are due, it's figured out in the checkout. Okay, so that's $347 for 12 hours worth of training, or 6 hours, 6 full 2-hour sessions with me, plus a community space, plus practice sessions, plus demonstrations, and plus the chance to win the professional membership for a full year. And I think the professional membership kind of comes out around $347, maybe just below that, something like that. Anyway, so if you win that, then you're effectively getting it for free, because you're getting the professional membership for free for a year as well. So I guess the question is, who's interested? Who wants to be an emotional health and well-being coach? Now, of course, I should point out, this is on Zoom, so I have to restrict numbers because I want to make sure everybody gets the best experience possible. So the numbers are restricted. As soon as it's sold out, when you click that enroll now button, it just won't work. So you need to get in as early as possible, because I'm fairly sure this is going to sell out. I couldn't have priced it any better. $347 for 6 weeks is what, $55 a week, something less than that, maybe something around that. It's not a lot for a 2-hour session. What's that, $27.50 an hour, something like that, for training sessions? I really couldn't have priced it any better. If you go to some other training providers, you'll find that a 6 session course will cost you $700, $800, $900, maybe even over $1,000 for a course. So I really can't price it any better than that. Now, I'm going to put up on the screen the link, and then I'm going to start answering some questions. So that's the link. Just that one there. So you need to go to www.bit.ly/PA-emotion coach. That will take you straight to the sales page. You can read all the details about it if you want to read further details. It's exactly as I've just described it to you. And you'll find buttons on there for both the Sunday enrollment and the Tuesday enrollment. And you'll find they're split into whether you want to pay in full or whether you want to pay in 2 separate parts. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on the screen. Let me see if I've got any questions over here. Nalini, hi Nalini from India. Hi, I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. Somebody's put, love reading and learning about and working with emotional energy. Such a great skill to have when guiding a person to a healing event. Absolutely. I can't reiterate what I said right at the start of this live stream. If you want to be in the helping industry, in any role at all, coach, practitioner, therapist, complementary therapist, if you want to be in the industry, you need to be able to deal with emotions. And this course is going to teach you how to deal with people's emotions, how to help people with their emotional issues, whether that be depression or anxiety or stress or anger or overwhelm or frustration or fear as getting through to where they want to be. It doesn't matter. This course will teach you the golden circle of coaching, which is what I call it, and how to deal with those emotions. So again, let me See if there's any questions. Ravi from India. Hi, Ravi. How many students? It's limited numbers. There's going to be 15 per class. That's it. That's all I can let in a class is 15 per class. I'm expecting that to go quickly. A very fair price. Thank you very much. I think so. I can't have done it any more than that. Fantastic. Thank you, Mary. A great price. So the question is, who's going to dive in? Who is going to dive in and grab these spaces before they go flying out? I simply can't offer it at a better price than that. If you are diving in now, just put a comment. Maybe you've dived off to dive in, so you're probably not watching me anymore. But I'm going to leave the link on the screen there, so you can type it in to your web browser and go over and purchase the course if you want to. I honestly can't wait to teach you this course. The reason I can't wait is because working with emotional health has been the driving force in my life, really. You've seen my courses, my pre-recorded courses, therefore I'm guessing you know what my story is. You know that over 20 years ago now, I was diagnosed with depression, stress, and anxiety all at the same time. You'll know that I was given a prescription from a doctor for some tablets, for some medication. And you'll probably know that as I walked out of that doctor's, the doctor had told me that this medication could take up to 3 months to work, and I just didn't want to feel that bad for 3 months. So that's where my journey started into learning about emotional health. And yes, you can call it a mental health if you want. Same thing. I just prefer to call it emotional health because mental health makes you think it's all up in your head, and it's not. Emotions flood our entire body. They're not just in your head, they are in your entire body. In fact, way back in the 1970s, descriptions of mental health were saying an emotional state that affects the body as well as the mind. So why we continue to call it mental health is beyond me. It's emotional health. It's the same thing if that's what you're thinking. That's where I started with mental and emotional health, and it's grown from there. I was able to help myself, and then I started to learn life coaching, and therefore I'm able to help more people. And I'm able to help people through coaching, but also these days, of course, I help people through training courses. And I can't stress and emphasize enough that the live training courses are by far my most effective. I love doing the pre-recorded courses because it allows people to get access to this information, and that is so important to me because in this industry for so long, the information has only been for people who can afford thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars or euros or wherever you are around the world. It's so expensive. So doing pre-recorded courses and allowing folks to get that information is great. However, to really get that information across and allow it to get into you, the knowledge, the experience, the learning into you, doing a live course is absolutely the way forwards. And again, I've put a couple of testimonials up over the last week or so from people who have taken my Master Coach Diploma course recently about how much they've got from it. They've learned so many skills. They've got to practice those skills. They've got the training manual, just like you're getting in this course. And they're coaching and being coached. So they're going on their own personal journey as well, which is what you're going to get to do. You're going to get to coach other students from your class as we do the practice, but also you're going to get the chance to be coached as well. Therefore, you'll be able to go on your own inner journey as well as we go through the class. Such powerful stuff it really is that I really could. I think somebody, I think a good friend of mine, I'm sure you've seen him posting in the group, a guy called Cuddy Cudworth. If you haven't watched our radio show, by the way, it's Thursdays at 4 o'clock or every other Thursday at 4 o'clock. The one thing he said to me about the course, because he was on the course, was it was worth 4 times what I charged for it. Easily worth 4 times what I charged for it. I think by the time you've been on this course, the time you've paid for this and you've been on this 6-week course, you will probably think the same of this course because it is jam-packed with information that you can take and immediately use for yourself and for your clients. That's what folks from the Master Coach Diploma course were. They were literally doing the getting the learning and doing the practices 1 week, and then in that week, if they'd got clients, they were going and using it on those clients, and having massive effects with them as well. They were seeing massive shift with their clients just from the information, and they were doing it week in, week out. There's so much information that you can use immediately. This isn't stuff that you're going to have to learn. Well, I'm going to teach you over 6 weeks, and then 6 months' time, you're still trying to figure it out. You're going to learn it right there, right then, in that point, in that moment, and you're going to get to practice it right there, in that moment, and be practiced upon, so you know what it feels like to be being coached in that way. And then you're going to get to go out and use it. If you've got clients lined up, or if you're ready to get clients, or if you've already got clients, you're going to get to use this information straight away. That's how powerful this information is. Somebody's just put, hi, I just started your solution-based counseling course. I'm very happy with my decision. I'm fresh out of the university. I want to study counseling for my master's degree. Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining that particular course. I really, really appreciate it. As I do, everybody who joins my courses, the pre-recorded ones, as well as the live courses, I'm massively grateful that you join and that I can get the information to you. So I'm about to wrap up, folks. If you haven't been and signed up yet, please do it quickly. I'm absolutely certain that these spaces are going to fly off the shelves. That's what they did with the Master Coach course. Gone. They were gone really, really quickly. And I have to limit them so that you get all of the information that you can possibly get, and in a small environment in terms of numbers, so that I can put all of my focus onto you folks. So once again, go to www.bit.ly/PA-emotion coach. That is the link you need to use. It will take you to the landing page. You'll get a full description there of everything I've talked through tonight. So you can read it all again if you need to, just to check. And then there are buttons for the Sunday class and the Tuesday class. And you can choose to pay in one payment of $347, or in two payments, break it down into two payments of $174. And again, I do have to say, if there's any taxes due in your country or region, they'll be added at the checkout, just so you know. That's the way the whole system works, because every country and every region has its own tax laws and tax rules. I have to stick to them all, and that's the benefit of using the Teachable system they use, because they handle that for me, rather than me trying to mess about and give you 50 different buttons that you can choose from to press. So head over to that link, choose which day you want to join, and choose whether you want to pay in full or in two sections, and sign up, enroll today. And I will look forward to starting with you. Just again, so that you're aware, the first Sunday class is Sunday, the 30th of April, 8 p.m. UK time in Zoom. You'll get links and stuff before we start. Don't worry about that. And Tuesday, the 2nd of May, again, 8 p.m. UK time in Zoom. Again, you'll get links before we start so that you can join in, and you'll get all of that stuff that I described for 6 weeks. And by the end of it, you can be an emotional health and well-being coach. And it's a fully accredited course, so you know it meets the high standards. Okay, folks, let me just check before I go. Mary, thank you very much. Thank you, Mary. I really appreciate it. Folks, it's been great to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much for watching in. I really hope you dive in and join me in the course. I can't wait to meet all of you in Zoom who decide to join in. It's going to be an amazing course. I am so looking forward to teaching it. This is my real passion. The emotional health and mental health is my real passion, has been for years. So thank you to everybody who's going to join. I really hope I get to see you in the course. For now, folks, I'm going to wish you goodbye, as I'm just going to flick back so you can see me properly. Thanks very much for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you in the Zoom course really soon when you sign up. For now, though, good night. Have a good day or good evening or good night, wherever you are around the world. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you really soon. Bye.